I just got a
We are
notification that you're
on
streaming.
air. How's everybody doing? I am here interviewing one of the first people to have, or I'm here to talk to one of the first people to ever come onto one of my streams. In person has over 100,000 subscribers, Bearing. Now, if you guys are not
over 400,000, motherfucker, come on.
Yeah,
come
over
on.
400,000. If Yeah, but I haven't. The biggest that I've ever talked to was white YouTuber. He doesn't even have 30,000 yet. So, yeah. Anyway, so
he's a scrawny cunt.
If anybody out there watching is not really up to date, the story behind this whole thing is that, of course, everyone knows almost that AIU was a doxer, and well, Loudmouth pretty much called out Bearing for one that he had like a shadow collaboration, I guess is what Bearing called it, with AIU, and then we had like a live stream a few months ago of where Loudmouth Reviews came on, and he referred to AIU as a psychopath, and be it intentionally or unintentionally, Bearing almost made the edit kind of confusing, and so I made a confusing edit to try and clear things up. Plus I wanted to like get the record straight on why it is that Loudmouth isn't too fond of Bearing. And then Bearing makes a response video to me. I do a live stream yesterday with a whole bunch of people in my circle of friends talking about this whole drama. And then Bearing, he watches it himself, and he comments on, I should have basically given him an invite or somebody to defend Bearing. And really, I guess it would have been best. I mean, I feel kind of like an asshole right now. But
that's all right, man.
Anyway.
I watched about half of the live stream, and just for the record, I didn't take anyone out of context intentionally. I mean, when I listened back to it, it's clear that he's talking about AIU, but as I said, I can understand how you might see it differently, and so that's why I actually reached out to what's his name, Loudmouth Reviews, and said, look, I'm happy to add a notation, which I've done.
Yeah, and really, that's a forgivable part. Okay, I mean, since you did fix that, it is highly forgivable. But there was actually some other people in the comment section that thought that Loudmouth Reviews was referring to you as a psychopath. I mean, if I can pull up screen share here.
Oh, you don't need to. You don't need to. Yeah. I believe you. As I said, to me, the way I heard it, he was clearly talking about AIU. But since you've brought it up, I'm saying I can understand how some people might see it. Like, had I have seen that when I made the video, I would have done something about it, but I didn't see it. So
yeah, and that's easy to because I mean, I've watched the video several times, and every time I hear it and see it, I'm like, oh, he's talking about AIU not Bearing. But that's because I'm familiar with the subject. If you're watching this for the first time, it could go either way because it's ambiguous the way it's set up. But if you know the context beforehand, it seems to make sense.
Yeah, and as I said, I can see that now. So that's why I was happy to.
Yeah. So I don't think it was intentional.
No,
I still kind of want to show these examples just for the record for any of Bearing fans that might be watching right now or might eventually watch this like sometime in the future, watching this for the first time after we're done with the stream. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to play guilt by association as far as calling you a comparable asshole to your fans. I mean, every big YouTuber is going to accumulate assholes of some kind that will take things to an extreme with their comments. I mean, you were fairly decent, at least with your response towards me. And really, I cannot be mad with you as far as how you presented yourself, except for maybe with the, well, Loudmouth can suck my fucking dick line. But other than that, you were all in all fairly friendly. I wish I could say that with at least half of your fans that came rating my video. But
did you get a lot of? Was there a lot of people that came and commented? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, commented, disliked, all that shit. And also, there was like another half of your friends that showed some concern. Like, for example, there's this one comment that I read that said, you don't want to do this. I suggest for you that you start over, that you delete this channel, start over with a fake name and so on and so forth. And thinking to myself, well, thanks for the concern, but I'm on the top of my game right now. I just accumulated a larger fan base.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Where I can, I mean, if I can, I like to minimize, you know, like strong backlash that people get. The issue that I had with you is you made a video that was called "Bearing Takes Someone Out of Context," so I kind of had to link to the original, because I mean, to respond to a video called "Bearing Takes Someone Out of Context" and not provide a link to the original to provide context would look pretty fucking shady.
I don't have an issue at all with you linking to my original video. I have no problem with that at all. I'm not gonna bitch like Danny Courts, as some of my friends were talking about him yesterday, about how he'll complain about getting hate mobs. I mean, that's the least of my concern, really.
Yeah,
Danny thinks that if you're mean to him, you're a misogynist. He's just fucked in the head.
You was about to say something,
I'll make a policy to always link to the videos, because that's what you use as your source. So every video clip that I include, I've got that in the description. So if they take it down, well then, oh well. But
so do I generally. But I mean, it is a case by case thing. I mean, if for some reason there's some circumstance where I think, well, geez, these people are just going to cop hell, I'll try to do what I can to minimize it.
Yeah, but you gotta have people need to be able to verify your sources, and so this is something. And it's actually, I've decided to change the format of any future videos I'm going to do to kind of represent this, because I've been looking at what other people have been doing, and Philip DeFranco, I think, does this the best out of all the YouTubers that I've seen and watch and subscribe, is he'll do what the other person said up front. He may give a little bit of a setup for it all, and then he gives his opinions afterwards. And I've noticed in my videos, I did this sometimes, where I would give my opinion and then then play the video and then say, see what they did in the video. And that, to me, I've realized is kind of, even though that's my interpretation of what's going on, that's a little bit of poisoning the well.
The problem with that is if you play too big a block of someone's video, it opens you up to copyright strikes.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not playing the full video in like, you know, the entire video and that sort of thing, but I will be playing the video clip I intend to use and then talking about it, what my perspective is. So that way people are seeing the same evidence I saw with the same fresh set of eyes, as opposed to me saying, do you see how stupid this person was? I mean, what a complete cuck, or what a bitch. And then I play the video and everybody's like, oh yeah, that guy's completely, but had they just seen it on their own, would they have come to that same conclusion? So
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So that's something I think, I mean, that's something I'm going to try to do from now on. So I hope I didn't do that with the video that I made about you, because that's part of this whole scenario. And so I don't know if you know this, or I mean, maybe you've noticed this because you commented on some of my videos. When Loudmouth started this whole kind of fiasco thing by saying that you've already lost patronage, well, that was me. I was a patron of you, and after finding out about all this, I withdrew my support. So I unsubscribed, I unfollowed, and I said I can't support or endorse this kind of behavior. And
and that's fine. You've got every right to do that. I just what I took issue with was to me it seemed like Loudmouth was intentionally going after a patron in order to get them to unpatronize, which I do find a little bit dirty. I mean, I do think that to specifically, I mean, if you happen to be talking to someone and you happen to convince them of something, and then they on their own, you know, independently make a decision to do that, that's all's fair in love and war. But I think to intentionally target someone's income is you shouldn't do that.
Yeah. So when Loudmouth actually said this on Twitter, that's when he kind of went the full retard, is because it was like, oh, they're gonna, like at the time, maybe this is me using hindsight or whatever, and saying, oh, well, obviously they're gonna look at that and see, oh, he's targeting Bearing's income, and that looks bad. But that's what got the response, because it had been, let's see, I'd sent you DMs in Twitter, and I sent you messages on Patreon, all that sort of thing. I was trying to get your side of the issue. And it wasn't until Loudmouth sent that we actually started getting some responses back. It was about 2 days.
Yeah. Look, I apologize about that. I mean, it's just a matter of a sheer number of messages.
Yeah,
you know, that wasn't intentional.
Yeah, so I'm kind of angry with the way that Loudmouth had worded that, because it makes the whole situation. A lot of people came to the perspective that, oh, this is terrible, and a lot of people came to your defense, because if that was what was going on, he was targeting your income based on what you had done, then I would be on the opposite side as well. But knowing from my perspective that this was a completely isolated, not isolated incident, he informed me of AIU's character and all of the activity AIU was up to. And I told him, oh, well, if that's what's going on, and if Bering is supporting that sort of thing, or at least doing videos with that kind of guy, well, that to me is a hypocritical stance, and I can't support that with my dollars. And he's like, oh, you were a patron of Bering? Didn't even know that. So it's, from my perspective, it makes perfect sense for him to make that statement. But after the fact, so the way he made it, it sounded like an attack, and it put everybody on the defense. Everybody's like, oh, some guy's coming after Bering. We got to defend Bering from, some guy who's going after his income. Even Roaming Millennial chimed in and said that. And since then, Loudmouth has kind of been, I don't know why, but Loudmouth is pretty much has a vendetta against everybody who came to your defense. And I think he doesn't see that they all saw you were the person being attacked. And it's human nature to come to the defense of victims. And after making that tweet, it made you look like the victim. So I'm mad at him for kind of putting us in that position. But would we have gotten any tension whatsoever had he not done that? Would all of this have gone unnoticed?
I think you hadn't made your video at that stage, had you?
No, I had not made my video. I had made.
I think if that had happened, usually most videos that get made about me, I get sent to me like 15 times. So I would have, it would have come to my attention pretty strongly once you made your video, I think.
Yeah. See, but I was trying to do the honorable thing of getting your attention and seeing, because I was asking you, within 5 minutes of me finding out about all this stuff, you can see it in my Twitter feed. I sent a tweet to you and Sugar Tits asking if you knew prior to making the video. Because that's, if you didn't know about AIU, then you were in the same position as me, because this is something we've also commented on. I was on Warski Live, and they invited James also and AIU to that stream. I didn't know, I knew AIU had a fairly large following, because, look at me. I've got maybe 120 subscribers right now. I'm a nothing channel. But I was on Warski Live because I was a patron of them. But here I am kind of in a chat and a discussion with people with several 100,000 followers. So that's I was kind of like, hey, I'm kind of rubbing shoulders with the big leagues on YouTube. That was a little, but I wasn't aware of all of this at that time.
I get that.
Let's ask this question to HUMANE. Did you know at the moment that AIU was a doxer? Did you know of the doxing drama?
No, that should be fairly obvious when you go through my Twitter feed when I'm talking about him. I knew of him because he was big enough where his name gets circulated around. I had seen a few of his videos, but he was, when you're in this community, you know the people who are all involved fairly quickly, because everybody associates with everybody. Everybody shows up on everybody else's live streams and things like that. So I knew of him, but I didn't know anything about what the whole doxing situation.
Yeah.
So
look, let's address the other side of this, and that is where you talk about the fact that I support AIU. When the AIU doxing thing came out, and it was a big drama sort of thing, which was, I don't know, a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Right, like in the midst of that, like a couple of days after it broke or something, I was booked on AIU's on his podcast, right? Okay. Now when it came out, there was this, it was massive. Everyone went fucking spastic. Crowd was going after him and all that. Now before we went live on the podcast, I did question him about it. I said, is it true? And I gave him my stance. I said, well, that's pretty average. He said to me, he said to me that he released names on someone on his channel because someone called him racist and they were anonymous, right? And so I gave him my opinion. I said I think that's pretty dirty, and you shouldn't do that type thing. So he knows my opinion. It's not as if I've never told him this, right? So we did that podcast, and then it was like over a year later that I did that video with him that was in the center of this sort of drama.
You're talking about the 30-year-old virgin video?
Yeah. Because I sort of felt that, like, I mean, giving him my 2 cents, I hadn't interacted for a year or more. I mean, what are you supposed to discommunicate forever? I mean, what happens to Jeff Holiday and Create and Tea? I mean, are they
Yeah, that's an unfortunate situation because that's another a situation that these keep coming up for some reason. Like, it seems like almost like clockwork. Every year on the year, hey, somebody decides that they're going to dox because they cannot argue against their opponent. So in that situation, what you're supposed to do, which is, I mean, this is, if you look at any other type of deviant behavior, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to give somebody a reason to change. It's you're put on probation or a timeout or whatever until you can demonstrate that you're no longer doing the thing that we disapproved of.
Well, he's not. He hasn't done anything like that recently.
Are you sure? Because Tor, the person, one of the people who AIU has released their real name, the outspoken realist. Yeah, the outspoken realist, or Tor. AIU is using his real name in the live stream that you had with Bering, and Tor.
So let me just clarify that. When that happened, I legitimately thought that Loudmouth was joking. I thought he was making some sort of quip, because here we were on a stream about doxing, right? And he goes, "Oh, AIU just turned up in the chat and doxed someone." How, that doesn't sound real. It doesn't sound real. That sounds like a joke. That's why I laughed at it. I mean, okay. I don't know. Did he? I mean, I never saw it. I mean, I took down that stream recently because I thought, well, fucking hell, if that is the case, and I don't want my name attached to, I don't want to be seen to be fucking laughing at doxing, because it's not cool. I mean, it's just not. But that's the reason why I laughed, because
so you regret laughing at Devin doxing somebody?
Well, I never saw it. I never saw it for myself. I mean, can you show me that he did? I mean, because the chat's gone. I mean, the chat wasn't on video.
It's not on video, and that's why I've got OBS running, and I always put the live stream in the video, so that way you can see it as you stream. I learned that I saw that Aiden Paladin doing that. I'm like, oh, that's a really, really good idea. So
put it this way. Put it this way. If he did, that's fucked. I completely condemn that. That's not on.
So you didn't have the live chat going, so you couldn't see them. So I guess there's a double edge to this. Had you had that streaming on the actual video, well, then you would have to at least cut that part out, or delete the entire video, because AI was using your video to dox.
However, of course, and hang on, and of course I'd cut it out, and I'd have a crack at AIU and say, don't fucking dox people on my fucking live streams. That's not on.
The other thing is, if it had shown up on your live stream, then you would have evidence of AIU doing it. So then you would be able to. But Tor still to this day says that yes, that was his name that was in the live chat. Tor has sent us messages. So when we were having this discussion on Twitter, me and Loudmouth originally, when I was asking him for evidence against AIU, Loudmouth was sending me there's 3 or 4 videos, and those videos had links to other videos and that sort of thing. And then Tor joined us in that conversation. So, and Tor was talking about his experience, and he was saying even just a few months ago, AIU was still releasing his name. Now this is kind of an interesting situation, because I think AIU doesn't see it as doxing anymore, because Tor's name is already out there on the internet. However, exposure to that is fairly limited.
It is one of those funny questions, isn't it? I mean, my name's out there as well. Yeah, I don't like people using my full name, but it is out there. I mean.
So
I understand if people were to use it. I mean, as I said, I don't like it, but I don't think it's doxing.
So, yeah, but
Hey,
right now,
I have a question, a quick question. Like, nobody in this stream is doubting the dangers of doxing somebody.
No. It's just a. It's
right, because I have somebody in the chat here asking for me to bring up clips, stories of people dying from doxing, and if people are not like doubting the effects of doxing, then I don't really see the point. So shout out to S-Man Speaks. Sorry, I don't think I'm going to bring it up unless we have like an actual Devin Tracy defender.
No,
so,
no one here is fucking is yay doxing. No, doxing's a cunner.
No.
It's as simple as that.
That's not what I get. I just wanted to address the chat for a little bit there.
Okay.
But, you say that in your debate with Loudmouth that you did not know that he was freaking that Devin was doxing somebody.
Well, no. I'm saying I didn't see it. Now I of course I heard Loudmouth say Devin's just doxed someone in your chat. Now. Yeah. That's such a fucking an oddball thing to fucking hear while we're having a talk about doxing. It was a joke. He was being a smartass. That's why I laughed at.
Yeah, okay. I can understand why you see that, but from where we were standing, I was like, wow, that to me looked like proof of a double standard. Where if Christy Winterd had come on your stream and said, dox somebody in your, I mean, because you've made several videos about her and Danny Quartz or whatever. Had one of them been on a stream of like, say, maybe not even your stream, like say Tim Blake had a stream and they were in the chat and they were doing the same thing, and Tim's guest was like, oh, there's Christy doxing somebody in your chat, and Tim Blake laughed at it. Would you have the same? Oh man, I should say demotivator.
Of course, that'd be average. But let's have a chat about the Christy Winters situation, because that's the other side of this hypocrisy narrative. Now,
yes,
there seems to be this idea out there that I mean, Christy didn't dox me, right? What my opinion is that I think Christy gathered my details and provided it to a doxer, and that's what I've always said, right?
Yeah.
But there seems to be this.
She wasn't the one who doxed you.
No.
Yeah.
No, she wasn't.
I also think she spread it once it was out there.
Yeah, she did. She had screenshots of that.
Yeah.
But let's.
I don't get it. In your response video to Thomas Smith interviewing Christy, you said at one point in that video, Christy spread my docs around. Something along those lines.
Yeah, she did.
So that to me is kind of on the same level of egregious actions. I am. Yeah, so somebody else released the information, but if you point people to that information, I think you're equally culpable. Mm-hmm. So the fact that it doesn't matter that she didn't actually post the information or release it to that site herself, if she's directing people there, because how would people know it was there to begin with had she not pointed them to it? Mm. It could be out there on the internet and nobody knows about it. The damage is mitigated. But if you are exposing more people to it, that is going to make what could be a small dox, or hey, 5 people know about your name. Now 100,000 people know. Who did more damage? The person who released it to 5 people, or the person who added another 900 and?
Well, it's just that, I mean, I don't think the numbers are that relevant. It's a malicious intent that is relevant. But what I was going to say is that there seems to be this idea that after I sort of formed the opinion that Christy was largely behind that doxing, providing info and all that sort of stuff, that I went on this huge vendetta, and then I was just bashing the walls and saying Christy's a fucking bad. That's not what happened at all. When I found out that when I got hold of the pretty convincing evidence that Christy was behind supplying the information, the first video that I made, I'll send you a link to it. At the end of the video, I say this, and I quote, "I can't be fucked spending any more time on this. I'd like to get back to making videos on real stuff and not this petty shit." Now, would I be able to prove it was these two, being Christy and Danny? If this were a court hearing, probably not. But this isn't a court hearing, and I'm more than satisfied they were behind it. So I wasn't calling for blood. I wasn't demanding that people disassociate and that she gets in trouble. And
Uh-oh, did we lose him?
Okay, let's get on with life. There's no point crying over spilt milk. Now there's been a lot more videos that I've made on the subject, but they've all been in response to Christy, right? So I hadn't gone on this active campaign of, you know, poor me, look at what she's done to me. You know, I deserve justice. That seems to be, it seems to be, you know, the idea out there. That just never happened. I acknowledged it. I said I think Christy was behind this. Now I've acknowledged it. I'd like to move on.
So it wasn't Christy who was actually providing the docs on the public internet. She was just providing the doxers. Your name?
Yeah. That's what I believe. Yeah. And that's what some pretty.
And you really don't think there was, and you don't think that there was malicious intent behind her actions, or at least not to the same extent as AIU.
No, there absolutely was malicious intent.
Yeah, it should be kind of implicit in a malicious intent, because why would you expose somebody's name that they have gone through to lengths to kind of separate their YouTube channel from, or whatever, from, their online personality. They've gone to lengths to say, hey, these two people are separate, and then you're putting them two together.
What I'm saying, the point I'm trying to draw to is that it's not as if I've gone, extremely hard and I've gone on a vendetta after Christy because it was me who got doxed, and then I've gone light on AIU. I had pretty much the same attitude towards both of them. This is fucked. This is wrong. You're a dickhead for doing it. Acknowledged it and moved on.
Okay, so perhaps that's it's the misperception, because it looked like you were going after Christy pretty hardcore from our end, and it looked like you were giving AIU kind of a little slap on the wrist. Oh, that's bad.
No, I gave him. To be honest, I gave him both a slap on the wrist. I wasn't extremely hard on either of them.
Okay.
The reason that perception, the reason you could perceive that is because, as I said, I have responded to a lot of Christie's videos. But I mean, that's what you do when someone makes a video saying you're a fucking liar, you're a bullshit ass, you're making up stories about me. You respond. You defend yourself. Yeah. But it wasn't me who actively initiated those videos. It wasn't me calling for a witch trial.
Well, so that's that. I think that's, again, comes down to how bad doxing actually is. And so if you gave them both a slap on the wrist, granted, that kind of changes my perspective on this, because from what I was seeing a lot of concern, a lot of what's a good word? A lot of condemnation for Christy and little to none of AIU. But if you're saying that it was more of little to none of Christy and little to none of AIU, that's less of a hypocritical stance.
Well,
however, I think that's the wrong
approach would kind of defer on that, according to his video.
Sorry, say again?
The outspoken would kind of defer on that, according to his video, as far as how bad it is to dox somebody. And
that's a separate issue. So because there's 2 points there. So the first was, I thought Bering was being harder on Christy than he was on AIU. Although, given the way he stated his perspective, it may be the case that he was going light on both. That's something that isn't hypocritical. If you're going light on one and light on the other, that's not a hypocrisy. Okay.
Yeah. Now, as I said, I can understand how someone might perceive that I'm going harder on Christy because I'm responding to videos where she's saying you're a liar, basically. Now, if she hadn't made those videos, there'd be no reason to respond.
Yeah, that would have been just a dropped subject. However, so I think what most people are seeing is that they have a harsher view on doxing and what happens to doxers, or what should happen to people who actively engage in doxing.
That's fair. That's fair enough. Everyone's entitled to form their own opinion. I mean, as I've stated, I think doxing is a cunt act. I think it's a low act. But let's be real. It's not murder. It's not rape.
So that is.
I think that's a confusion with my video. I wasn't trying to say that they were exactly equivalent. Like if you murder somebody compared to like stealing from somebody, obviously the murder is going to be worse than actually stealing from somebody.
What about fucking a kid? Can I fuck a kid?
Oh, God. Shut up.
No, that is now on your
Okay,
stream.
this is-
Now YouTube strikes out the ass because of bearing.
Sound bites for everyone.
Anyway, my point is that doxing is viewed pretty much as objectively across the internet, just the same like murder, rape, and stealing are viewed as objectively immoral. I mean, they aren't just as immoral, but they are viewed as objectively heinous acts. And so my point was, I don't know, I don't find it to be a very good thing to be associating with people who are objectively immoral. And one of those people that fall under that is AIU.
Well, yeah, but that comes back to the point I made before. I mean,
especially if they're unapologetic to it. I have to add that as well.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. See, I wouldn't say AIU is apologetic to it, but I wouldn't say. He's not.
I meant if he is unapologetic to it, like if he hasn't apologized for his own actions.
I know exactly what you're saying. What I'm saying is I haven't heard him be apologetic or unapologetic. I haven't. Other than that smart ass fucking, that smart ass line at the end of that collab I did with him where I poked him about doxing. I've had one conversation with him about doxing, which was the initial one where I said that's a shit ass act. You shouldn't do that.
Okay, I think that would be the one thing that would like resolve this whole issue is if we were to dig up some clip of him saying humbly that he is sorry for his actions back in 2016 and whenever else he had doxed.
You're not going to find it from him because he doesn't view doxing as something that's wrong. If you actually listen to his stuff, he says that that's what they deserve. He's saying they deserve to have their information exposed to the internet because they're hiding behind avatars. That's what his claim is.
And I disagree with it, but I mean it's something that we've all acknowledged here that doxing isn't as bad as murder and rape and all that sort of. Now with those crimes, you get a punishment once you've done your time. You're free. You're an equal part of society. So what is given that doxing isn't go on.
There's a caveat to that, right? Repeat offenders get longer sentences. So if you murder one person and then you get out on probation for good behavior, you go and murder again, that's it. You're done.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but doxing is a social stigma. It's not a crime.
Okay, it is a crime. It's not a crime that can be used against AIU because, as far as I know, he is not in the U.S.
It's not. It's just not a crime. Imagine,
it falls under harassment and cybercrime.
This isn't me advocating for doxing or anything, but just consider this: if doxing was illegal, the media could not function. There'd be no media.
No, it's. Okay, so I did look this up for Occam's razor or Occam's router, who was who commented on Zach's video. There's a law in California that is specific to doxing, but then there is a federal law in the U.S. It's 216 or Article 18, 216 A and B. It actually refers to this sort of incident where it's targeting or looking up information about someone with the intent to harass or cause emotional distress.
So what didn't CNN?
That is doxing, although they don't use the term doxing.
Why didn't CNN get hauled over the coals when they doxed that kid?
Because they didn't actually dox him. They threatened to. They threatened to. They didn't actually dox him.
They did name him though, didn't they?
No.
I'm sure they did.
They used the screen name and they threatened to release his actual name.
Right.
So the threat of doxing apparently is not illegal. However, I would say it should be because that's kind of the implication has the same result. The threat of just like the threat of killing someone has a similar negative connotation of actually.
Okay. So the way you've described it is and I understand I don't use the term doxing, but it's releasing someone's name to menace or harass type thing.
Yes.
So
specifically using the internet.
So the media's workaround, say the media did an article and posted it on the website. The media's workaround could be, well, we didn't release a name to menace or harass. We released a name in order to report the news. Just and there could be a workaround with AIU as well. Getting technical, he could say, well, I did not release the name to menace or harass. I released the name to defend myself.
Okay, so there is a source that one of my friends provided in
I'm just being objective about it, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, the source provided by my friend, it's from a website called The Other McCain. Now, I do not think this is in all associated with John McCain, but still, there's a lawyer named Sue Basco. Scrolling down to the quote from her, it says, "Doxing is always illegal, whether it is done against a federal employee, a state employee, or a regular person. There are federal and state laws that specifically address doxing."
Hang on.
This is specifically in the U.S.
This immediately raises my bullshit alarm because no two people on the fucking internet can agree what doxing is. So for her to say doxing is always illegal, I mean, some people's interpretation of doxing is the media reporting the news. So that blanket statement is fucking.
They're interpreting
if you look at the actual
source that it is releasing restricted or private information.
Well, is your name private information? I mean,
yes, it is. It's considered PII by the United States Department of Defense. Personally identifiable information. Any personally identifiable information.
We're talking private information. Like private information would be passwords and bank account details. And
your name.
Hang on a sec. Your name is on the fucking electoral roll. That's not private. Yes. That's very, very much public.
However, when your name is linked with your social security number, that becomes personally identifiable information, and that would be a violation of doxing. Similar with your name and your email address. If somebody links your name and your email address, that could be considered a violation of this.
Sure. Look, I think we're sort of getting,
so the same thing with your YouTube name and your real name. If you do not link them on your YouTube channel and somebody else does it for you, that violates the personally identifiable information. That becomes doxing at that point. Because somebody was trying to make private and you've told them, no, you can't make that private.
I think we're getting into the territory of debating what doxing is. And that's not a debate I'm really interested in. I think if you're ever releasing anything maliciously, I think it's just a cunt act, whether it's doxing or not. So, I mean, I don't really care what doxing is.
It's against the will of the person who that information belongs to. Yeah. If it's against their will, then it is doxing.
There's a guy in the chat named ARMCF Adful said phone books dox all the time then. The thing is, if you are like if you're an internet personality though, and you are using a fake name and you're revealing none of your own personal information, but then somebody else comes along and like say hacks into your profile to find out who you really are, and then he releases like your name, your phone number, your email address, your home address, that would be doxing right there.
Yeah, of course it would. Of course,
I don't find phone books to fall under the category, especially the category that we are defining it under this stream right now.
So but look, hang on. This is probably going to be an unpopular fucking point of view, right? I've already stated I'm against releasing people's details, whatever they are. If it's against their wishes, it's a cunt act.
Yes.
But a small part of me does understand Devon's argument. I mean, what he's saying is that you know there's
he has no argument.
Well, no, hang on, hear me out, man. As I said, you know, a small part of me understands his argument, and that was that there's people out there anonymously calling Devon Tracy, you know, his actual full name, a racist. Now, if they're going to sort of if they're going to sort of put that stigma on his actual name. Now, not atheism is unstoppable, but Devon Tracy, you can kind of understand him wanting to get his own back. Now, as I keep saying,
I can understand him wanting to, but he doesn't have the authority to do that.
No, that's
to violate.
Hang on a sec. I'm in no way saying that gives him license to dox. That's not what I'm saying. No. Not what I'm saying at all.
Yeah.
But I can understand him wanting to get his own back. I can.
The question is, though, are the people that are calling him racist the people that actually doxed out his name, Devin Tracy? Or did they just find out from someone else that his name is Devin Tracy? Because if they are the ones doing the doxing and at the same time calling him racist, well then, yeah, I guess I can kind of understand somebody wanting to get back at him.
No, I think,
but if they
I
are
think,
not the doxers themselves, then Devin has no legitimate case to be doxing them just for calling him a racist when they found out from someone else.
This is a moot point, man. This is a moot point. I don't think he was ever doxed. I think he released his own name, but under whatever circumstance, yeah, I think he did.
Yeah,
I can still, no matter what the circumstances of his name being released were, I can understand if somebody is smearing your real name, you kind of you'd want to hold them by their real name to account. And as I said,
you don't get to.
It doesn't give you license to dox, but I can understand that desire. I can.
Yeah. My right to swing my fist ends where your chin begins. So it doesn't matter even if I want to. As soon as I hit you, that becomes a crime. That's how it works. As soon as I violate your rights, that's where it becomes something I am not allowed to do, no matter how much I may want to.
My chin's a black belt.
I still think that doxing and calling somebody a racist is nowhere near equivalent. Like a racist, you can being called a racist, you can just easily brush that off. But if somebody is doxing at you, you're posting your personal information that will potentially lead for somebody to kill you. Like I just read that there was like at least 2 cases I know where somebody was killed. Like here in my city, Wichita. I just doxed my city, so come and get me, everybody. But anyway,
hang on a sec. Let me just stop you there. People have also been, there's extremes in all scenarios. People have also been killed because people have branded them racists. You know, there's going to be extremes in a lot of scenarios.
So the question comes in the credibility of the person making the accusations, right? So some anonymous person on the internet with 300 subscribers or whatever calls AIU a racist.
I don't know.
How much credibility does that other person have?
I don't know what the circumstances were. I honestly don't.
Yeah, well, if you look at those channels, these are small channels that AIU decided to pick on, usually teenagers and things along those lines, because he doesn't seem to go after people his own size or people who could actually, fight back.
No, he does. He has a crack at me. He has a crack at Sargon. He just he does. I don't think it's fair to say he's a bully, but and as I keep stating, I'm not arguing that what he did was right. I think it was wrong if he released names. I think that's wrong, as I've always stated. All I'm saying is I can understand him wanting to get retribution.
Okay. So I think this is an overall
I won't argue on that point any longer.
I think there's an overall kind of lax attitude towards doxing. This is why it seems to be so rampant and why people are actively engaging in it. And even recently when Kraut and T were doing that, and apparently Sargon probably didn't know the full extent of it, but he knew that some of it was going on, and all he did was he told Kraut, just kind of stop, don't do that, don't go down that road. And
I don't think Sargon could have done any more in the situation. I mean, Kraut led on that he was collecting someone's information. He hadn't done anything with it.
Yeah. He hadn't done anything with it, so you don't know if his intention was to release it or to use it in a malicious way.
Exactly. Now, gathering the information was a dirty thing to do. It was a wrong thing to do, and that's exactly what Sargon said. He said, "Don't do that. That's a shit thing to do."
Yeah, but I think as long as people continue to just have that attitude towards this, it's just going to continue to fester.
To have what attitude?
Like the attitude that just don't do it. Just don't do it. It has to be like what ramifications have come against those?
What was he supposed to do? What should he have done?
It's just kind of like if you're going to do that sort of thing, I can't hang out with you. I'm going to actually tell people what you're doing. I'm going to hey, if you decide to go through with this, I'm gonna have no choice but to make a video about it and tell people what you're doing behind the scenes.
Yeah, fair enough. If he decides to go through with it, but hang on a sec. Remember that when Kraut let on that he was collecting information, he hadn't gone through with anything.
Yeah,
now, if one of your good mates, if say Loudmouth Reviews, for example, was to say, hey, I'm collecting information on bearing, or whoever the fuck it is, right? He hasn't done anything with it. I think that the only thing you can do and the right thing that you should do is to say, Loudmouth Reviews, don't be cockhead. Don't stop it.
If you do this, your name will be mud. You will be there is no end to the amount of ostracism on YouTube that will happen to you if you proceed with this. That's what you have to do. You have to say, hey, you're kicked out. Anybody who makes videos on YouTube who does anything, they're now going to condemn you.
I also want to add regarding the Kraut situation, that Kraut was just merely collecting the information. He hadn't released it yet. So even though that it is still a bit of a bad move for him to be tempted to do it and being exposed in private messages that he was tempted to do it, it still doesn't put him on the same level of being a piece of shit as much as AIU.
Hang on a sec though. People's info were released from that server that Kraut created.
Yes.
Kraut fucked up. There's no doubt about it. Pretty badly. And I wouldn't want to be the judge of who's fucked up worse.
Look at what happened at the outcome of that. Everybody and their brother made videos about it. Everybody was condemning Kraut. Everybody on both sides was saying Kraut is the monster here. Kraut left. He's gone. I hope he never comes back. Like, I used to be a fan of his stuff. I was trying to defend him in this situation. But as soon as he said, no, this is what I was actually doing, I'm like, okay. You're out in the wind. You are not welcome back. You don't never come back.
Never's a long time, man.
Never is a long time. But somebody who, like, he was told time and time again, like after the Rage After Storm incident, people are like, no, dude, this is not the right way to do this. And here he is.
I was one of them. I was one of them.
This is he's done. He is not welcome back. If he comes back and he finds some kind of audience. Like, anybody who invites him on a stream to try to defend himself or try to build back his credibility, no, he doesn't get that opportunity. Like, I think that's at the crux of our disagreement. Is you can't. I mean, if Kraut did come back, say in 2 years, right, and one of your friends, let's pick on Loudmouth Reviews again. One of your friends did talk to him on Twitter or something. I think it would be unfair for you to say, Loudmouth Reviews, you are doing a terrible thing. I really do, because while you can have the convictions that you have, and you can judge people as harshly as you want. I mean, I don't think it's for anyone else to dictate who anyone associates with, and that's why I pointed out the by the way, Zach, hang on a sec, Zach, I never in my video the Theron Meyer thing, I never actually said these people are guilty of the guilt by association fallacy. What I actually said was people play this kind of guilt by association game. So it wasn't strictly, these are textbook examples of this fallacy. What I was saying was that I've somehow been judged as guilty of something in some way merely for the fact that I associate with someone. That's how I was using it.
It seems like pandering at the most.
How's it?
I mean, to somebody who is like almost objectively the most hated guy on YouTube, one of them at least.
How's it pandering? I've got a channel that's more than 4 times the size of the guy, right? When it's not just you guys I get shit from for hanging out with him. How's it pandering? I enjoy the guy's content so much. I think he's such a good creator that I'm willing to put up with that. But how's it pandering? What have I got to gain out of him?
You're pandering at the guy who had committed such such atrocities as doxing in an attempt to try and harm people.
That's the same excuse they use for Roman Polanski. Well, he's a terrible guy who raped a 13-year-old, but look at his movies that he's made. He's such a wonderful person in real life. One little thing destroys everything else he's ever done. What AIU has done with his doxing and his false flag destroys all of his everything else.
No, that's unfair. Roman Polanski got exposed for raping a heap of kids, and there were people saying, "Oh, well, he's a good director." There was You know, there was a big drama that AIU had released names or doxed people, and I said I think that's a cunt act, and then I didn't do anything with him for a year. Now, what's the appropriate? What's the
no? All of the good he's ever done is completely worthless now.
Well, what would have been the appropriate thing, in my opinion, is to see if the guy regretted it. Like, have a clip of him saying, "I am humbly sorry to the outspoken realist. I'm humbly sorry to attempting on Crown T or whoever else the fuck that he's a doc."
Well, for whatever reason he hasn't, and he doesn't want to. That's just stiff shit. I mean, so
that's the kind of person you don't want. Like, that's the type of person who goes out and steals from their own mother. Those are the
people. Are you speaking for me now? I mean,
those are the types of people that destroy societies. The people who are unremorseful for their actions. And I guarantee Roman Polanski is not remorseful for his action. So
I don't give the guy my PIN number. I associate with him for the reasons that I want to associate with him, as in the content.
No. The content doesn't matter. If he is that type of person, it doesn't matter if he's making the content. The fact that you
well, hey, Humane. You're free to have your opinion, just as I am free to have my opinion. You can control what you do. I control what I do.
Yeah, I get that, but that doesn't help your case at all. This is actually, it makes you look bad when you're saying, "Oh, I'm willing to ignore that because the content."
I'm not. Hang on. No. You're putting words in my mouth. I just told you that I confronted the guy and I said that's a cunt act. I told you.
His content is good. His content is shit because he's a shit person. He has ruined. That
just doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever.
It makes absolute sense.
No, it doesn't. It just doesn't.
Yeah, yes, it does.
And if you think it does, like I just said, you're free to have your opinion. I'm free to have mine. But what you cannot sit there and say that I've just let him off the hook. It's not what I did at all. Not what I did at all.
So would you take marriage advice from somebody who's embezzled from his company?
What?
Right? Somebody who has done something bad, would you take their would you listen to them in other situations?
It entirely depends on what you're talking about. If there was a fucking a genius economist, right, who had a track record in quadrupling people's money, and he committed murder, and he went to jail, and somehow he was able to get financial advice out, fucking oath I'd take it. Fucking oath I would, because the financial advice has got nothing to do with killing him. It doesn't make you a bad person for what you're saying is ludicrous.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about the whole taking advice from somebody method. I mean, somebody can take this strategy advice of terrible warlords in the past. I mean, I think Genghis Khan. I don't know for sure, but people like Genghis Khan or Alexander the Great, people that might have committed some bad acts in their past throughout history, but then you take their example for how to be a good strategizing general yourself here in the modern world. But it doesn't mean necessarily that you're cool with hanging out with them. And with the example of taking an economist's advice on economics, well, copy their model all you want, but it still doesn't seem right for you to be having dinner parties with the guy.
Well,
especially if he hasn't apologized for it. I mean, if he legitimately regrets killing somebody, well then fine. That would be that. I guess that would be all right. But then, if he doesn't regret it in the least bit, how bad a person, how sociopathic or psychopathic of an individual is that person, and how well, I don't want to use the word moral, but how good is it that you really associate, that you really actively, positively hang out with that bad person?
I take objection to loudmouths. I mean, even to look past whatever out of context thing you thought. I take objection with his psychopath comment at all whatsoever. I mean, one of Devon's recent videos, he addressed Jeff Holiday and Kraut and the recent drama they've gone through. Now, Hang on.
Fucking room to talk.
You haven't even heard what I'm going to say.
HUMANE, let him finish.
Right now, remember that Kraut's the one that really led the charge against AIU, right? He came after him hard, right? Okay. Now, in a recent video, AIU brought Jeff and Kraut up and actually said these guys are going to be getting dogpiled like all fuck at the moment. So I think it's important if we, that we all remember that they're human, and when you're getting that much shit thrown at you, it can be devastating. So just keep that in mind. That's not what a psychopath does.
It deserves to be devastating.
That's not.
That is what a psychopath does. If it helps his end game. That's exactly what psychopaths do.
So you reckon AIU said, have a heart, don't be too hard on these guys because it really hurts, and it's Christmas.
Okay, what does this do?
Hang on a second, let's not make them suicide. You reckon there was bad intent and psychopathic fucking.
No, because this is great for AIU, right? One of his main attackers for doxing is now guilty of doxing, and AIU is scot-free, and the community is kind of laid off on him, whereas Kraut and T is gone.
If I may add something very quickly, you guys, the outspoken realist in his video towards AIU, he revealed that AIU had revealed somebody's home address once. So that would definitely result in a killer, like it
would not
actually
definitely
personally going to his house and killing him.
Yeah.
Well, it could. Yeah. Excuse me.
So that's
I mean, look, we're getting into nitty gritty territory that I don't think he's out of place. But I mean, AIU's parents got swatted. It's not as if he hasn't fucking.
Yeah, which shows him that he only cares about it when it's happening to him and his family, right? When it happens to others, they deserved it. But when it happens to me and mine, that's a psychopathic kind of. It's the selfish behavior where I can do whatever I want, but you can't do anything to me, which is clearly shown when he says he's calling people names, he's insulting people. This is entire content is insulting people when they say stupid things, or and then when somebody says something about him, it's war. It's all out war.
Yep, and I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. If I saw him fucking dox or release someone's name because of an argument, I'd call him a fucking idiot.
That is psychopathic behavior where the rules apply to everyone else, but they don't apply to me. That is what a sociopath and a psychopath. That is how they act in the world.
Yeah, no, look, I still reject it. I think if for someone for a couple of people that he had beefs against, like Jeff and Kraut, when they're down and out, a psychopath would say, "Yep, fucking smash him into the ground." No. They wouldn't say have a heart and consider their position. They're going to be copying at the moment. I reject what you're saying. But as I keep saying, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to mine.
Oh, no, it makes him look sympathetic. It makes him look like the good guy. Like this situation, what Kraut has done made AIU look like the good guy because he was the bad guy being harassed by Kraut, and Kraut's the actual doxer. It's right. It makes him look like the good guy. It's like similar. I don't know if you've been watching American politics, but it's like, the DNC is like, oh, Trump and Russia. And then guess what? The DNC was actually part of the whole Russia scandal, and they were actually the ones behind it. And there's more evidence of collusion between Hillary and Russia than there is of Trump and Russia. Guess what? It makes Trump look like the good guy.
This point is not
the same situation that AIU has found himself in.
This particular point is not central to our argument. I think we're wasting our time.
They were the people who are doing the doxing and who are doing the bad stuff were attacking AIU and making AIU to be the bad guy. And it's like, oh, look, no, they were really the bad guys. But show some sympathy for him. There's absolutely no way he could do the right thing. If he was to come out and say, yeah, fuck these guys, fucking smash them into the ground. Oh, he's a cunt. If he comes out and he says, listen, but don't go too hard on them. They are human after all. Just consider it from I know.
He's still a cunt. There's no way he's not a cunt.
There's no way of him not being a cunt because he has doxed people. That's who cares what he says anymore? His word has lost all meaning.
I can understand it. Listen, I can understand if you don't care what he thinks, but that doesn't allow you to attribute malice to everything that comes out of the guy's mouth. I think that's highly unfair, and that's just my opinion. And we're going to disagree on it. So
if he's been malicious once, what's to stop him from being malicious again? Nothing.
You've never been malicious? You've never been malicious?
What do you mean I've never been malicious?
Have you never been malicious towards anyone in your life?
See, not that I can think of.
Bullshit. I don't believe you. Everyone has been malicious in some way, shape, or form. I'm not saying you've committed crimes or you've doxed anyone, but everyone has done something out of malice.
I guess the question would be if he regretted, if he's apologized to the person that he showed malice to.
Yeah, well.
Okay, so there's somebody that I want to kind of address in the chat from the Ben C. Why are they coming into a house and killing people just because a random person made a phone call? I could literally send a murder squad to my next door neighbor and it is legal. Well, the thing is, a lot of things that are illegal that are not necessarily moral.
That's fucked. What the fuck does that happen in nowhere but America does that happen?
Yeah. If you think about what started off with a swatting thing, it was online gaming. People were playing video games against each other, and then where they would swat their opposition, right? At least that's my understanding of it. When this activity started, is they couldn't win online, and so they called the cops on the person that they were opposing on these stupid first-person shooters. It's the same type of mentality, right? It's the I can't win legitimately, so I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna use underhanded tactics to win.
It's just it's piss weak. It's piss weak and it's contact, and I think we can all agree that doing piss weak contacts is not good.
And so that's what I see when I see AIU saying, "Oh, these people called me racist. I'm going to go and dox them. And I'm going to release their information." It's like, oh yeah, you can't just refute the accusations of racism. You can't just make a coherent argument. No, instead you attack them personally because
that's fine. You're perfectly entitled to do that. Go and have a crack at AIU.
Yeah. And I would say anybody.
Hey, I want us to review what we've went over so far. So far we've what we run over. HUMANE Mind wasn't directly asked by Loudmouth to actually unpatron for you. Is that correct?
He didn't even know I was a patron. He did not know I was a patron.
There's that. Bearing did not intentionally edit Loudmouth out of context to make it sound like that he was referring to him as a psychopath. So that aside, doxing is bad. AIU is bad for doxing. He hasn't apologized for it so far. And Chrissy Winters, apparently that is a little bit more complicated regarding that scenario.
Yeah. So it seems to me the issue we deal on is the severity of how we should react towards people. I think we need to be more severe, but
I never agreed that AIU is bad. I think he fucked up and he did some bad things in the past.
Oh.
Anyway.
Yeah, so I think he is worse
before you give me your alternative opinion, just consider that you are entitled to have that opinion, and I'm entitled to have my opinion. All right, cool.
Oh, okay. So that's all right. So when you're talking about,
but seriously, why don't you go and have a crack at AIU? Why don't I see you doing that? Mm-hmm. When?
All right, so I've been responding to him, linking him to things like that. That was part of my video that I made, so it wasn't just you.
No, show me. No, your video that you made is called fucking unbearable or something. It's addressed to me. Where's your videos on AIU saying, man, you're a fucking cunt. You deserve to die. Fuck you, go to hell. Where are those?
I didn't say he deserves to die. I don't think.
The thing is that as HUMANE had mentioned, he said that he hadn't known of the whole doxing drama until that moment when Loudmouth confronted him. Am I right? Is that right, HUMANE?
And then you made a video.
I want HUMANE to quickly ask, is that right, HUMANE?
So I made a video and I titled it Unbearable. And the primary thing I was talking about was AIU, right? I mean, at least it was kind of 50-50 AIU and Bearing. I thought that was enough, but apparently I need to make a video specifically about AIU. And I guess that...
Well, you're talking about it was about my association with AIU and how you thought that was wrong. But what I'm saying is, you're quite willing to have a crack at me for associating with a bad guy, but you don't attack the bad guy. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me.
All right. So
I haven't seen
anything. That is something that I should have done. I should have done more against AIU. Right. So I thought 3 hours streaming, talking with Loudmouth and all that thing, and including a significant portion of that video about him was enough. But I guess that isn't enough, and that is legitimate criticism. I will make a video specifically dedicated towards AIU, talking about all of the instances of what he's done and what the appropriate reaction to him should be.
I mean, you don't have to. I'm not saying you have to, but I mean, if you are to be consistent, like you're demanding of me, you would have.
That is valid criticism because it shows inconsistency.
Okay.
All right, I'm agreeing with you there.
Okay, and I guess I should have put out some evidence in my response video regarding AIU, like even just a little snippet of all of his acts and whatnot. But
there's plenty of
the thing is, I haven't found hardly anything of AIU worth responding to that hasn't been already responded to by, for example, the outspoken realist. I don't think that there is really anything that I could add on top of that, because as far as I know, here in 2017, he hasn't done any doxing at all. At least
other than the stuff in that stream, I haven't seen any instances or been informed of any instances. Although I did find out that he had one of his channels shut down shortly after the stream with Bering.
So what? People get channels shut down all the time.
Yeah, well, he got his channel shut down. This is number 4, so he's
yeah, he makes content that skirts the edge, and YouTube have been pretty fucking harsh on him. But that doesn't, that's like Christy Winters saying, because Bering's Twitter got deleted, that proves that he sexually harassed me. That doesn't make sense.
No, it depends on what the reason for it is. I don't know the reason behind AIU getting 4 channels shut down, but I have a tendency to think that it's probably related to doxing and false flag campaigns.
I know you do. I know you do.
Because you look at other people on YouTube who are making similar content that still have their videos up and have never been removed.
Guy goes to jail for 20 years. He must be guilty of murder. That's the proof he's guilty of murder. The fact that he went to jail. It's the same thing, man. The punishment.
Okay, so you're saying the smoking gun and the confession was
no. All I'm saying is it doesn't make sense to say the punishment is proof of the crime.
Well,
that doesn't make sense.
The crime, in my mind, is the confession. And you were talking about, we need a trial. And where's the what's the word you were or the phrase you were using?
You're talking about something else now.
No. Where's the due process, right? Well, there's no due process whenever somebody confesses. That's a case closed.
Right, and there's plenty of clips of AIU admitting his.
Yeah, fair. No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I accept you. I accept your point that there is no need for due process if someone confesses. But then our argument comes back down to what is doxing. I mean, I think Devon would argue that I released names and that's not doxing. You'd argue otherwise. I get both arguments. So none of this is cut and dry. None of this is clear as day. There are unknowns here.
I do know that if AIU was in the U.S. and I was Tor, I would definitely be seeking legal action against him over this.
Well, hang on a second. Didn't you say it's illegal?
It is illegal.
So
I would file a claim.
Well, no, you'd press charges. I mean, doesn't file a claim suggest that you're taking civil action?
You can do both. That's
whatever the case, he would take action against it. Yeah. Legal action.
You can do both because O.J. Simpson was not found guilty in the criminal court but he was found guilty in the civil court, right? It was a civil suit that won and took away all his money that caused him to actually be in jail right now, unless he was out on probation. I'm not sure of that, but.
Hang on a sec. So you lost the civil case and went to jail. That doesn't make sense.
No. He lost the civil case, lost all his money, and then later robbed a place trying to get his stuff back.
Oh, right.
He's not in jail for murder. He can't go to jail for murder, but he lost a civil suit and lost all of his money. And later on, he committed another crime trying to get some of his money and stuff back. That's why he's in jail.
By the way, very quickly, the incredible Aspie says hi to Bering.
Hi, Aspie. Have you done any more recording, man? We should do another song, man. We'll do some more vocals.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that once we get this whole debate segment regarding doxing, that I invite my friends on for like just a hangout for the rest of the time, depending on how much time Bearing has. But
I've
anyway,
got to get going soon.
Yeah.
So if you want to invite some people, maybe get some people on now if you want. I mean, I'm satisfied with this exchange we've had. I think that there were parts of both of our positions that were misunderstood by one another. So I think that we've gone a long way to address those.
We got
so thanks for clearing the air
completely out of the way. Do you still think that it is wrong to be hanging out with an unapologetic doxer? Is my question.
No,
like not just the shadow collab, by the way, but also the fact that you invited him to a stream with Copper Cab and the rest. It seemed to be a hangout stream more than.
I've got no regrets, and I'll do that again. Yeah, I know you boys don't like it. I know you boys don't like it, but we're entitled to our own opinions. Yeah. I'm against doxing, and if anyone I know doxes or releases names, I'd call him a fucking idiot, and he's no exception. But yes, I would collab, and I would do a hangout with him.
Would you also hang out with Christy? Like aside from her, would you rule out live streaming with Christy Winters?
If she wasn't such a fucking psychopath like she's turned into in the last couple of weeks, yes. Before a couple of weeks ago, yes, I would have gladly, and I would have put everything behind us and been neutral with it.
She's a psychopath, but Devin is not.
Hang on a sec. Christy has fucking provided my docs with my info. She's had my Twitter shut down. She's gone after my income in several ways. She tried to get my maker support shut down. She's written to my sponsors. There's a lot more there between Christy and me than AIU. He's never done anything to me.
You're one person that she has focused on, but AIU has done it to multiple people. It does seem like a bit of a double standard when you say, it's not I won't hang out with her because she did it to me personally, but I will. No.
If it was just,
can I finish my point? Sure. And then you go out of your way to hang out with the person who has done it to other people, but not you. Seems like just a double standard.
No, it's not. If it was just the doxing, I'd put it behind me and I'd gladly hang out with Christy. It's more the fact that she's gone after multiple sources of my income. That's and in the last like fucking 8 days, she's done like 180 tweets of it. Oh, I'm scared she's obsessed and she's going to cut my face off or something. That's what would prevent me from doing a hangout with Christy
now.
All right.
We agree that doxing is an immoral act, but you would still hang out with an immoral person, that being AIU.
All right, my question is, have you done any research as to the extent of what AIU has done, or are you just relying on hearsay?
I've seen a bit of it, but I'm not interested in going on fucking deep dives because it's not my role and it's not my. I just want to make content. You know, I don't want to fucking deal with this shit.
Okay.
I didn't want to deal with my own fucking. I didn't want to deal with Christy. Remember what I read you? I said I don't care. I want to move on. Why would I want to fucking go into other people's shit? You know, I've told him my position. I've told him I disagree with doxing, and that's all there is to it.
Right. We're not accusing you of like a guilt by association, especially in that way. By saying, oh, he hangs out with the doxer, that must mean that he's okay with doxing. Now we're just a question of why you would hang out with this immoral person right here. And I think the thing that would set this all aside right now is if like you disowned that shadow collab video, you disowned the hangout, and you put out of the question of ever hanging out with Devin ever again, unless you wanted to like confront him about his actions of doxing.
I have. I've told you in this stream before that I have confronted him about him, and there's not a chance that I'd denounce. I consider him a mate. No, not a chance.
No, I get the fact that you have. I get the fact that you have confronted him, but he is still unapologetic about him. And if I confronted somebody about their actions of doxing, but they're still unapologetic about it, I would definitely not go on my way to hang out with them because they would be a potentially dangerous human being.
Well, hang on a sec. Like we addressed before, here's you guys saying, you should denounce, you should fucking have nothing to do. Yet here you guys are fucking jumping up and down about what this guy's done. Yet you haven't confronted him.
So,
why haven't?
Because a lot of other people have, and the guy is evidently unapologetic about it. And I don't need to confront about him because none of us have ever hung out with the guy. I mean, HUMANE Mind at the moment, he did not know the full extent of Devin's doxing. I'm sure that if HUMANE did have the opportunity to talk to him.
Had I known during the Warski Live, I would have confronted him then and there. I would change the subject completely. Why are you inviting this guy on? Do you know what this guy's done and all that sort of thing? And I've gone out of my way, like, I don't know if you know who. Yeah, you know who Blonde in the Belly of the Beast is, right?
I think on the Warski stream, you would have. I do. You would have swiftly been told to fuck off. I mean, it's just.
I would have been told that, and then I would have left the stream.
Cool. That's your prerogative.
Anyway, so here, So in addition to making my videos and talking about this on live streams repeatedly, but then again, my audience is small. I've got 120, and then like maybe 400 Twitter followers. So if I'm a blip on the radar, I'm a blip on the radar. That's it. I'm nothing more than that. However, I do know Matt Christensen and Blonde when they've got their show Beauty and the Beta, and I have been on their Wednesday live chat, and I told them about this. I specifically mentioned this because AIU was brought up earlier in the situation, and I'd let them know, yes, there is specific evidence showing that he is doxing. So that was on a much bigger channel than mine. I don't remember exactly how many they have, but I know it's like somewhere over 100,000. So that
but it's buried. I mean, you can talk about it on live streams. Talk about it on other people's shows, but you're not owning it, are you? I mean, and this business of, well, I've only got 400 subscribers.
No,
that's bull. That's bull. Subscribers mean fuck all. You're a person, just like I'm a person, just like Devin's a person. We're all just a person. So I mean, your subscribers doesn't make your opinion more relevant or more correct.
No, but what are the odds that he's actually going to see it? Like the odds of you actually seeing all of this is pretty bizarre to me.
That's not the point. You're haranguing me for not having more of a go at him. Yet you haven't.
I was under the impression that I had done enough. You have shown me that yes, it is not enough. I will correct that.
Anyway, I think we've come as far as we can go. I'm satisfied that
at this point it's just going to get circular, I guess. I mean, you still don't regret hanging out with Devin. You say you have confronted him, but the guy hasn't changed. I don't know. Still don't regret hanging out with him on the stream. And you still don't regret making that shadow collab. And you still don't rule out hanging out with the guy again.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
And I guess at this point, it's kind of pointless to try and change your mind then, but it still seems hypocritical.
It is, yeah. But look, I think we've got more of an understanding of each other's positions than we did. And I disagree with you. It's not hypocritical at all because I haven't. I mean, where's the double standard?
Well, I thought we had let it all. I thought you had made a decent case, and I was willing to drop the hypocrisy charges until you started talking about with Christie again and to the extreme. Now I'm kind of like that kind of undermines everything you were saying earlier.
What do you mean talking about Christie again?
When you were talking about how she's a psychopath and how she's directly attacked you on multiple fronts, got you banned from Twitter and all that sort of thing.
She's coming after my.
Have you not seen what AIU and his group has done to the people, like these smaller YouTubers who don't have a platform, who don't have the 400,000?
No.
There are countless examples of people getting all of their social media shut down because of AIU and all this sort of thing. So getting their Twitter banned.
That's a ridiculous statement. That's just a fucking ridiculous.
There are people. What Christy Winters is doing to you, AIU has done to other people.
I haven't seen that, and if I saw him doing that, I'd say, "Hey, that's a bit rough. You're a fucking idiot. Don't do that." I haven't seen that. Can you show me that?
Watch Creationist Cat's videos of where he has proven that Devin has flagged his videos.
You haven't seen that, and you haven't seen the video where he's telling his other guy on his podcast that they should do false flag campaigns to get people's channels shut down. So you
I
haven't
seen
seen that, and you're making your determination based on what you haven't seen, because it's not important enough for you to investigate Devin Tracy, but it is important to you to investigate Christy Winters and what she has done, because it personally
Not at
affects
all.
you.
I never investigated Christy Winters. I had.
Well, then she's shut all these things down from you. She's cost you money, or she's going after your revenue stream, right? Isn't that investigating what she's doing?
No, it's been obvious. It's been in front of my face. She bragged about shutting me down. There's no investigation needed. I wouldn't waste my time fucking investigating that cunt. I've got better things to do.
So then how do you know that she was the one who shut down your Twitter?
Because she fucking tweeted a number of account reported, thank you, we've investigated Bering's account and he is breaching the rules. She tweeted them at me. They fell into my lap. Just like all the doxing stuff. I never investigated anything. All this stuff was
yeah.
I was furnished with it. It was sent to me. It was leaked to me.
So if we furnished evidence against AIU on what he has done to other people and what he has bragged about doing to other people, then you would have the same kind of. So if we furnished that to you, then you would do a video about it.
If it was conclusive enough, and if it was that shocking, yeah, probably.
The guy has admitted it himself. It is pretty conclusive, it seems.
Yeah. So well, that's what we're saying right now. The next step is we need to provide Bering with the proof. And then if he makes a video about it, he makes a video about it. If he doesn't,
hang on, and I'll treat him with the same standard as I have with everyone else. Now, you know, as I said, I was probably lighter than you'd go on Christy Winters for having an involvement in doxing me.
Yeah, it's in my mind that eliminates all credibility an individual has. Because if they're willing to lie or do the malicious thing in one area, what's to stop them from doing the lying and doing malicious things in other areas? That's just.
I haven't vouched for this guy to be fucking president, man. I've done a fucking collab with him because I find him witty. That's not a. Yeah, I think you're being.
He produces good content, but he doesn't do good enough content to actually defend it. No, instead he has to go use underhanded tactics to defend it. So it's good enough to get by, but not good enough to stand scrutiny of people, you know, showing it for what it is.
I don't know what your point is. You go through your life and you react to situations that come up in front of you how you wish, right? And I'll do it how I wish. Now, it's an ugly character trait for anyone to be inconsistent. I don't think I have been. Now, you can disagree with the way that I handle things. That's fine. That's fine. But when it comes down to it, and I hate to be crude, like I said to Loudmouth, you can suck my fucking dick. I'll do things that
crude. That's your entire shtick.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
I think in the end of all this, apparently, Bering wants to avoid hanging out with one immoral person that has been immoral to him, but he'll hang out with another immoral person that hasn't been immoral to him. But
okay,
yeah, you interpret it anyway. You interpret it any way you want. I'm not going to hang around with a person who is actively trying to destroy my fucking income, who is a direct threat to me, just like you wouldn't.
Well, we're not asking you in the least bit to hang out with Christy Winters. We're asking you to stop with the whole AIU stuff.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Yeah,
boy. Yeah, I think
so
this discussion
at this
is
point,
done.
if we send him all of the evidence we've gathered on
so
AIU,
so hang on a sec. So was it your intention, right? When we decided we're going to have this stream, was it did you have it in your mind that you were going to 100% bring me over to your way of thinking, or was there a thought in your mind that if we can meet halfway somewhere, that'll be a good thing? Because that's what I think.
I was hoping for that.
But the fact that you cannot completely change the way I think has you upset. I think that's a bit childish, mate.
No, I thought we had come halfway. Until he brought up the Christy Winters situation and you called her a psychopath. And now I don't think we made any progress whatsoever.
Well, you know,
it's disappointing that we haven't made hardly any progress in getting out of the way the whole editing out of context thing. But it disappoints me that we cannot change your mind regarding this whole thing, because we want to like you, Bering, but we just cannot get out of the way the fact you would want to want to hang out with this immoral person, AIU.
Well, that is guilt by association.
Well,
but anyway,
maybe, we're not calling you approving of doxing, though.
No, that's not what I'm saying. You're attributing guilt to me because I associate with someone. Now, I've never once
We're not
said
applying the same guilt. We're not applying the same guilt to you.
I'm not suggesting that you are. You're applying some sort of guilt for because of the fact that I associate with someone. Now, I've never said to anyone, you are immoral or you are in any way wrong for hanging around with Christy Winters. I've never done it because I think it's a cockhead thing to do.
All right.
Anyway.
So,
well, differences of opinion, I guess.
So we've done cockheaded.
And that's fine. That's fine. We can have differences of opinion. Yeah, I think that if you're going to attribute any kind of guilt to someone for merely associating with someone who, who hasn't, he's not wanted for fucking murder. He's not, the authority. You're not harboring a criminal type thing. I think to associate any kind of guilt to someone for merely associating, I think is a bit of a cockhead act. Now, you think I've done cockhead things. I'm perfectly within my rights to think the same about you. We can still get along. I still think you're good blokes, but everyone's a bit of a cunt somehow.
You also think that AIU is a good bloke enough.
I think he's a bit of a cunt. He's just naturally a bit of a cunt. But a lot of my mates are cunts.
Yeah, I don't think like cunt is enough of a word for you as far as the reprehensibility of somebody, because you, like, if somebody was to call you a cunt, you just own up to it, apparently, Bering.
Well, the way he uses cunt is kind of like, you're just kind of an asshole. Like, whatever, you're just, right?
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
It's okay to have friends who are assholes, right? That's the way you use cunt.
I mean, I can hang out with somebody who's a little bit of an asshole to me. I mean, HUMANE does it all the time with Cult of Ham, for example. But it's not that AIU is just a bit of an asshole. Like Loudmouth said, he's a psychopath. Or maybe psychopath is a little bit too far of a thing, but he's definitely an immoral person for releasing people's information.
Loudmouth is well within his rights to think whatever he likes about anyone. I'm not going to condemn him for an opinion that he has or for hanging around with anyone. I'm just not. If he I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, if Kraut and T or Zeph ever come back, then anybody who associates with them, if I'm subscribed to that person who associates with them, well, then there goes my subscription. And if I'm a patron of them, well, there goes my patronage. It's
somebody in the chat says
a flaw in their character.
Somebody in the chat says, his name is Ryan Howe. He says, well, how you react to AIU in your stream with Loudmouth does bring up a lot. Like if you said, hey, Devin, knock it off, would sit a little better for me, but you laugh it off like a joke.
I think you must have missed the part where I explained that I honestly thought that Loudmouth was joking. I didn't see any docs, and I thought he was...
The thing is, in the clip, first you were laughing, and then Loudmouth said, oh, holy crap, he's doing it again.
Yeah, and that's when probably the penny rose, and I thought, oh, shit, he could be serious, but I never saw it. Now, did I continue to laugh at it when he said no? Seriously, he has.
Well, you go acting like that. You did not know that Devin was. You go acting like that. Didn't you say that you didn't know that? Loudmouth was serious saying that Devin was.
That's right. That's why I laughed. That's why I laughed.
Here's the clip.
Sure.
Wait, crap! I fail.
Technical difficulties.
Sorry, I forgot to turn up the volume on my media. I had turned it off momentarily.
All right.
But
so there's Devin doxing someone in the chat. Oh my God, he's doing it. What an asshole.
of course, he
was
added
it
that
was it
one
was
clip
it
at
was it okay? So it was me who pointed it out. Okay, so I've obviously seen him release a name and then thought it was him being a smartass. It was, as I said, I thought it was a joke. Now whether Loudmouth has raised it or whether I've seen it, I thought he was joking.
I'm glad you played that
Devin
clip.
Tracy was joking.
Doxing
is like not a real joking matter. I mean, even if
are you saying that I'm lying, Humane?
I'm pretty sure your story just changed completely based on when the evidence was brought to you. At first it was I thought it was a joke that Loudmouth has made. You'd think you would slightly remember that. Maybe.
No, I didn't. No, I remembered.
Yeah.
I remembered. I thought it was a joke.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, if it wasn't, that's a cunt act, and yeah, that's shit. I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is done. We resolved the whole editing issue, but Baring will still want to hang out with AIU. So, hey, you got some more time on your hands, Baring? Because I think some of my friends are like itching to want to join the stream.
People in, you can say
yeah,
hi.
got a little bit of time.
Yeah.
All right.
If
So
Baring's okay with that, but
Yeah,
I think I'm done here. This was a waste of time.
I don't think it was at all. But
No,
anyway,
I mean, except that now we've got you on record on the stream.
again, we've resolved.
you've got me on
whole
record doing
editing out of
what?
context
Misremembering how something went down. I said that I thought it was a joke. Now, I thought it was a joke. For fuck's sake,
Yeah.
You're gonna seriously call me a liar for not remembering exactly how something went down? I mean, if I had malicious intent and I wanted to fabricate something, don't you think I would have gone and listened to the stream before this so I got my story right?
Yeah, okay, so you see AIU posting a name in chat, and you think that's a joke.
Yeah.
That's was it something like Buttface McGee or Big Tit No Dick or something like that?
I don't remember what it was.
Was it an obvious joke name? Was it Seymour Butts? Was it?
I just told you I don't remember what it was.
Yeah. So I mean I don't know either, but Tor says that was his actual name, so I'm guessing it looks like an actual name.
Well, that's unfortunate. If I feel for this Tor guy, and I think that if it was his actual name, Devin's been a cunt for doing it. I condemn that action.
You condemn the person for doing it, though.
Yeah, but like that shouldn't be there he is doing something that we're on a stream talking about. He's obviously doing it as a joke.
But why would you? I mean, we're having a live stream about fucking doxing and shit. I thought, I mean, the same thing as I said before. Why would he be so fucking brazen? I thought it was a clear joke.
Because he's so fucking brazen that he will brag about doxing people and say that he will gladly do it again.
Yeah.
And tell everyone who is a part of his podcast and all of his flying monkeys and all of that they should participate in this, and they should not only just do that, they should false flag. And hey,
listen, I haven't heard that. Now, if you're going to sit here and you're going to you're going to say that I'm lying to you, well, I couldn't give a shit. Yeah. I don't. You think whatever you like, man.
It could be laziness, or I think maybe it's a bit of both. It's just you're only concerned when something is affecting you, or you just when it's somebody else or it's something else.
I clearly demonstrated before that I was completely nonchalant about it when it happened to me, and I just said I wanted to move on. So there's no inconsistency there, man.
No, that's not what it looks like from our perspective, and I don't.
I don't.
Maybe I'm wrong again. Maybe I'm the absolute cunt, and Ham is gonna come on my stream and tell me how I'm wrong about everything. But
actually, I think Ham would agree with you that pretty much that doxing is wrong, and that maybe Bearing probably should not hang out with doxers.
Well, I would think that if I was being dragged through the mud by a group for associating with someone who has done this, then maybe I would do the due diligence and see if I was actually associating with someone who was doing all of these things rather than just dismissing it. Because
I make funny videos on the internet, man. I'm not a fucking investigator. I'm not here to fucking judge people and to be the moral cops, man. If you want to do that, that's you go for your life.
But we're like doing investigating for you in this circumstance around AIU.
Yeah, I'm just after the truth, and this smells like bullshit.
You still will
so
not.
What are you saying, Humane? You're saying that on that stream with Loudmouth, AIU seriously came in and doxed someone, and I saw that, and I thought, oh, that is hilarious. That's fucking funny as that someone just got. Is that what you're saying?
That's what it seems like.
Well, we're finished then. There's nothing. If a bloke's sitting here telling you what he thought, I mean, you can't. I'm not going to convince you, am I? So
so I am happy with leading the stream.
Do you regret laughing at that, though?
No, you can invite other people.
Here's the question. Wait, Humane. The ultimate question around that: do you regret laughing at Devin doxing somebody live during that stream?
Yeah, absolutely. If that was someone's real name,
if that's the case, well then Humane, drop it. If that's really the case, well then Humane, drop it. That's what I have to say. Okay, so I'm about to send a link to the what has been renamed as the Poor Bastards chat right now. So, I mean, I do not know if anybody like really badly wants to come and hang out. I do not know how much time you have, Bearing. Do not know of how many family plans or whatever you might have had, because you did say that over there in Australia it's New Year's Eve right now for you.
I've probably got another 10, 15 minutes or so.
All right.
Yeah, I guess I can say at least thanks for showing up.
And thanks. Yeah, same to you, man. I think it was whatever you consider was the outcome. I think it was good. I'm glad we had the conversation.
Okay. It's good to know that that you admit that, well, that you did not mean to edit him out of context. You've corrected that issue, and you regret laughing at Devin doxing somebody live during chat with Loudmouth. So that's at least good to know.
Yeah, if that was someone's actual name, yeah, of course I regret it. I wouldn't laugh at that. No.
What a shit show this has been.
Fuck
yeah, it was quite heated, man.
I'm pretty sure every stream that I'm on is a shit show from here to eternity.
Humane, you are a passionate human being. What can we say? We admire your passion.
He's a really unique bastard, I'm sure.
Aspie was screeching in the chat.
Oh, did he? Oh, hey, Bearing, what's going on, dude?
Is that you, Aspie?
Please.
Yeah, that's him.
That's me.
How are you, man? Have you done any more music?
Hello, Bearing. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
I've done a few. I've done a few more songs on my on my channel. Yeah.
Yeah, he did a really good rendition of Ed Sheeran's "Perfect."
Yeah, nice one.
Yeah,
are you playing? Are you playing the music, Aspie, or did you get a backing track or something?
I'm playing the music. I play my guitar.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, he's actually pretty good at guitar as well.
Yeah,
I can believe that.
Yeah, I actually had another video where I was performing this. Sorry, that's my dad. I was performing a song called "In the Bleak Midwinter," and I called it the best Christmas song ever. And I actually did a guitar solo in the middle of it.
Aspie, I got a question for you. Were you caught looking at statistics again?
That's a running joke, Bearing. On one stream, there was a statistics blog in the back of Pornhub, and I was looking at that with my friends, and all of a sudden my dad walked in, and he thought I was watching pornography.
That's a good line, man. That's a good cover story.
Yeah, I wasn't looking at porn. I was just looking at statistics.
Do you believe me? Please. Oh, Aspie, you provide me the lulz. That's why I appreciate the shit out of you, man.
It was.
Baphomet, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
All right. Is your mic working, Baphomet?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, bud.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, good.
Hey, Bearing, I was on Twitter today and I saw Rowing Millennial posted that twice today. Her computer crashed and Vegan Gains responded to her saying, your computer crashed twice today, but as you say that millions of animals are dying. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
I think Vegan Gains has a bit of a crush on her. I mean, he had a crush on Bearing at one point. Now he has a crush on Roaming Millennial.
He goes to wherever he reckons the views are, I reckon.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think he only criticizes big YouTubers that say something against veganism. He doesn't ever, and they have no sense of humor. Vegans have no, like, I remember Count Dankula's, like, joke video against the vegans. It was not an argument at all. And Ask Yourself made, like, a 15-minute video treating it like a real argument. Now I'm just like, oh, my gosh. These people do not know what shitposting is.
Well, that's the thing. That Ask Yourself guy. I think the strategies. He sort of goes in and riles up big YouTubers who sort of then respond to him, and then that gives the opportunity to what's his name, to Vegan Gains to come in and
White Knight essentially. When No Bullshit made that video on.
Not White Knight. It's just Ask Yourself, or whatever his name is, comes in and stirs the pot a bit about veganism. So someone will go, "Oh, fuck you! You know, I eat meat. Fuck off. There's nothing wrong with it." And that gives Vegan Gains something to come in and scrutinize.
Yeah. When he first made his video on you, like Bearing versus Vegan Gains, when you first saw it, what was your initial reaction to it?
On a Vegan Gains, I originally only saw there was only like 5 minutes worth of it on someone else's channel, and so I responded to that, not knowing that there was like another full fucking 15 minutes or something. So it was a bit embarrassing. It looked like I'd only taken part of it and responded to that, but yeah, that was annoying. I think I did the longest video I've ever made in response to it. Was like a 40-minute video. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, and then a few months later, because he saw you apparently talking about nutrition, he made like another video on you. It's 2.5 hours live response.
Yeah, you can have that, man. You win. You win. You're the nutrition king, buddy. Well done.
Yeah.
No bullshit. Yeah, No Bullshit made him look good in that live debate, though. Like with how much of a shit show it was. Well, according to Loudmouth, but it's Loudmouth. So I mean, I like the guy, but sometimes he's a bit overzealous with this type of thing. It's like, bro, this happened 4 fucking months ago. It's time to let it go.
Yeah.
Because he just needs to follow my type of New Year's resolution. That's to just move on with the past, let it go. You know.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I mean,
that's how I improved my mental health.
Disagreements are a part of life, and I think as long as you can have them and not be funny about them and just sort of confront them and move on, I think you're generally right.
Yeah. Hey, I've been I actually when that whole thing with Kraut was happening, I actually didn't know. I actually joined that server. I couldn't join the secret server, but I did join like the poll server that he put up there, and I had no idea what was going on. The only reason I knew about the drama. The only reason I've been begging, I know about this whole Kraut thing was not just everybody was talking about it, but also because I've been begging Braving Ruin for the past like 6 months to do a stream with me, but he will not do it. The guy will not do it.
How to get blocked in 2017 or 18 by your friend, the Incredible Aspie.
Yeah, the primary server, to the best of my knowledge, had no actual doxed information on it because I spent 3 fucking days digging through that shit only for Braving Ruin to release a separate video. Oh yeah, it's a separate fucking server. Asshole.
It had some pretty dubious conversations on it though, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It was horrible.
But that's just conversations. That was not any actual evidence, and that was just them being, hey, these guys are fucking stupid.
Yeah. And I think is that they used it, but I saw what was his name? The Buddha or something Mouthy Buddha. He did a video on it, and he pretty much explained it that Kraut had made a few alt-right videos, which I saw most of them, and he and they were really bad, and a whole bunch of alt-right guys were having fun, debunking them, and Kraut got angry, so he decided to create a secret server where not only biologists and stuff would give him information on anti-race realism, but he also, when he got frustrated, he started doxing people
double
in
secret
his
server.
Yeah, like Coach Red Pill and so on and so forth. And eventually they figured it out. The Guardian figured it out, and all those other guys. And
the Coach Red Pill thing wasn't technically doxing, because Coach Red Pill released his own information out of sheer stupidity. However, they did dox.
But it's like we said before. It was. I mean, even if it's not doxing, it was maliciously using details for bad, like that's a cunt act, whether it's doxing or not. It may not be as bad, but it's still not right.
And this is stuff you guys have already gone over, so it's just going to be circular, and one of you guys are going to end up wanting to put like a 357 in your mouth, so it's better to just let it go. It's true though. It's true though. Like, I used to be this petty son of a bitch, worrying about everything that didn't affect me. And 2017 was the incentive to try and change things. That is something I recommend to Loudmouth when obsessing over bullshit that doesn't matter anymore, that's not going to make a difference. That's just, and don't get me wrong, I like Loudmouth. I think he's a funny cunt, but sometimes he can be a bit obsessive with his shit.
I genuinely
both autistic.
As well. I like Loudmouth as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and also Bearing. I'm surprised you knew what a 357 was, because I heard it's like extraordinarily difficult to get a gun in Australia, especially in certain parts.
But we get American movies, man, so we know what guns are. We've got the lingo down there.
Yeah, how do you even get a gun in Australia? Do you have to like go through like a big long process?
I don't know. I think you got to be a fucking farmer or a hunter or something. I don't know. Wolf, do you know anything about that? Do you have a gun?
Oh yeah, my dad has an entire safe full of them.
No, I'm asking Lonely Wolf. Do you know how to?
Yeah, it's something to do. The only time I've ever seen people use guns is when I've lived out in the well, I'm in Brisbane now, but I used to live out in the out in the bush outback, and people had guns. It was just to shoot kangaroos and wild pigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's understandable. I mean, Australia is not exactly a place where you're going to walk out and have a threat of being shot at. I mean, Australia is not. It has a very low population, and the population that they have there isn't very violent. So,
I mean, I think our words are violent enough. Like, our words are our words are guns. Like,
yeah, that's
cunt.
Yeah. I would like.
I think the other thing in Australia is how it has always sort of differed to America. Is Americans seem to have a pride thing with guns, like they're like a
damn right
proud of owning it type thing. It's a really symbolic thing. Whereas in Australia, I think that even before the restrictions, I think they were more seen as just a tool, as like a shovel or a fucking as a tool type thing. They weren't a source of pride type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Australia has never been like occupied, right? No one's ever tried to take over Australia, to the best of my knowledge.
Well, there is the Aborigines, but the
Aborigines were native to them.
Yeah, I do got a question for you, Bearing. Though, what is it like in Australia, like the weather and politically? Because I know people gave you a ton of flack for your video on same-sex marriage, and Dusty was reading about it, and you were talking about the Australian Constitution, how free speech is implied, but it's not guaranteed under the Constitution, like we got the First Amendment in America.
Yeah, that's right. And my main concern with the gay marriage bill was the lack of protections for freedom of religion. And
I got your solution to that. It's to get the government out of marriage altogether. So if like in the freedom of association, I can agree with Zach on his whole shtick there. Simply put, like, and Humane told me the whole thing about how he got involved in that. But with the whole with the freedom of association. But
you know something interesting about that they actually, as it turns out, that some limits on freedom of expression did come about as a result of that bill, but they didn't come about in a way that anyone predicted. when the bill the day the bill passed, Lonely Wolf, you would have seen when they passed the bill, they were all celebrating and everyone sort of went out for champagne and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, in the hour after that, apparently there was what's his name? Fucking the WikiLeaks guy actually tweeted a really good article about it a few weeks ago.
I'll be back. I'm lowering batteries.
No,
right. Have a good
in the hour or two after the bill was passed and everyone was out drinking and celebrating all that sort of shit, there was actually a bill passed in Parliament that took advantage of the fact that no one was there, and it's all to do with whistleblowers. So people like the WikiLeaks. What's his fucking name?
Julian Assange.
Yeah, people that who do big like whistleblower data dumps against the government. There was an act passed that really fucking strict, like real strict penalties for that, like 20-year jail terms and shit for whistleblowing. So it actually was used to encroach on freedom of expression, just not in the way that anyone predicted.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I saw your video. I remember when I
smack you with the other hand.
I do remember when I saw Bering's video initially about the whole why he would vote no. I'm like, oh boy, there's going to be a lot of reeing in the comments. The downvotes are going to appear.
I knew that.
Yeah. I disagreed with the video myself, but I just saw it as this is more this is as doesn't like it seems like you're complaining. Well, I'm not trying to put thoughts in your head, but it seemed like the idea is to get government out of marriage. Like, I know that wasn't necessarily what you were saying, but it was like a solution to your dilemma.
That'd certainly be a solution. Absolutely, yeah.
Because whether or not
I had very very similar concerns. It's a very Australian specific thing. The lack of transparency in the proposition of laws.
Yeah.
And it's just in that issue. It's in everything that happens. It's the lack of transparency we have that's a big problem.
Yeah, I would be in favor of like guaranteeing it under the Constitution of Australia to make sure that free speech is not just implied, but like strong, like spelled out explicitly, and to get the government out of marriage.
Give us a First Amendment for fuck's sake. Why not? What's wrong with that?
Because I don't know of any other nations on the planet where they have it guaranteed under the law, other than like guaranteed in a constitution like the U.S.
There are a few, I think, but America's the most
well known,
straightforward and explicit type thing.
And
what that video certainly wasn't about, though, that pissed me off. That really pissed me off. Like some of the people that really don't like me, just jumped on the Bering's saying he's going to vote no because he's homophobic and he hates the gays. Like, fuck, come on. I think I put forward enough of an explanation as to why I intended to vote no to not just jump on that. But I ended up changing my stance anyway. I actually didn't vote.
Yeah,
I would actually expect something like that from Kevin Logan. I mean, like
he called Bering homophobic. The Potato Man himself called Bering homophobic, which that's just among his usual buzzwords. So basically, you just type ZZZZ in the comments, and that has more substance than what he has to say. So yeah,
I mean, he can be a funny bar.
Yeah, your concern thing has precedent here in the United States. There was a couple who owned an orchard or something like that, and he was a licensed minister, and they used to have couples come to their orchard and have the wedding ceremony there. But he wouldn't allow homosexual marriage at that orchard, and this local county or the local city denied his orchard from selling their product at the farmers market because of their stance on gay marriage. And so this is going to court. I don't think it's seen a court date yet.
Would you say this is a violation of free speech, or would you say it's like a violation of private property rights? Because like I do consider myself libertarian leaning, so I strongly disagree with them.
I would say it's both, but they are saying that his company has to provide marriages for homosexual couples, and that's what they were using as grounds to not let them attend the farmers market. So that's an instance where that's very, very tricky. And so what they're doing while they're waiting, trial and all that sort of thing is they just said, hey, we're not having any marriages at our actual establishment. So that way they're taking, so now they can do the farmers market thing, but they can't do both. They can't run marriages and do the farmers market the way they
You know
want
what's funny, Humane? You know what's funny? The people don't understand is if you don't like the fact that Orchard ain't serving gay people, open up your own and say, hey, we're going to allow gay people to get married there. So they don't understand that they could be taking advantage of their stupidity, but they're not going to because people can't think critically about anything. So
yeah, but that's the kind of thing that would be even more prevalent in Australia because they don't have a First Amendment thing.
I was going to say it's really odd for an orchard to have a no fruit policy.
I mean, I think Australia needs a Second Amendment, not guns. I think we should have the right to carry the wooden spoon. Like,
have a Second Amendment for cricket bats.
Hey, Baron, I got a question for you. I do got a question for everybody. I didn't know. Did you guys know that Orchard doesn't allow any bundles of sticks there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I actually have a question for Baron regarding his gay marriage video. I mean, at one point during your video, Baron, you like played an interview between a tennis player and some girl who was like pissed off at her reasoning, which I could see that lesbian or whatever being pissed off at her reasoning. And yes, I cannot remember word for word what gone down in the video.
Was it the pink-haired bitch? Yeah, she was cutting her off and saying, "Oh, you think these people are superior or inferior to you?" And yada yada.
I mean, if she was giving off the implication that she shouldn't be allowed to hold those beliefs, well, then yeah, that is pretty cuntish of her. But the thing is, I find it very, very odd, Bearing. I mean, I've been paying attention to your channel ever since you were around 20,000 subscribers. Right then, you were more outspoken about your atheism than you are nowadays. I do not see any evidence of you converting to Christianity. I find it odd that you did not criticize the tennis player for her reasoning of why she wants to keep gay marriage illegal, and that is because it is viewed as a sin in the Bible. How come you did not?
Because I don't have any problem with her having that view.
No. I know, but you could have like said something that is bad reasoning for it to be illegal.
Yeah, my response to Bearing, I did criticize her for saying that. And I did,
whatever. Look, I'm someone who I've got a
be right back.
I've got a lot of respect for my elders. It's just how I was raised, and I think when I saw that lady, I saw my grandparents type thing, and I thought, you fucking bitch, you know, to sit here and to say that this old bird is just wrong and she's horrible. You know, this is a champion tennis player, like an Australian who's fucking lived in the country, been part of the community, paid her taxes, and really given her life to the good of the country, and to just have your views dismissed like that, I thought was a real cuntish thing to do. So I was probably I was probably a lot more prepared to give her a pass than say someone, you know, if there was a young bloke saying those same reasons, I probably would have had that crack at him.
Yeah,
I do. But for the record, regarding that video, saying that gay marriage should be illegal, should be kept illegal just because of your subjective view of it being a sin, is bad reasoning to keep it illegal.
Yeah, I agree, but I think that and it might not be right, it might be skewish, but I just thought that she'd earned that right to have whatever reasoning she wanted.
Yeah,
you know?
I remember that. Because in my response to Bearing's video, I remember I actually cited some other Bible verses about homosexuality or other things that are just horrible, and said by that logic, if we should do something because Bible says so, are these other things okay to do, like killing gay men or not allowing certain people to speak in a church? If Bible says so, does that make it right? Basically, it was just to address that point too.
Yeah,
I mean, I did disagree with it, but I get where you're coming from, though.
Yeah, these aren't views that I hold. I disagree with these views, but I mean, my grandfather, who's 94, you know, he's extremely Catholic, devout Catholic, and I respect his right, and I fight for his right to have his views because he's earned them, and he deserves that respect, you know. And it was the same thing with her. I saw the same thing in her.
Yeah, I've met people who are Christians who say they don't believe same-sex marriage should be illegal. I'll just say to them, look, I strongly disagree, and I'll explain to them why I disagree. Like, I'm not going to be like that one this one dude with the accent, and he's all like giving her crap about it, and he won't even let her speak. Like, we're not gonna be like that. I'm just gonna take what they say, explain why I don't agree, and if we walk away disagreeing, cool. I've had 26 debates already about topics where we might not agree, but it was good mental exercise. Some with Zach, some with HUMANE, some with others. I mean, it's a good mental exercise. So.
Hey, I've got to say, some of you boys have done some fucking brilliant debates with Owen. I always enjoy them. That one you did, HUMANE, with Owen, that was spectacular. That was spectacular.
Really? You know what I found utterly ridiculous when he debated you was when he pulled the double standard at like the back half of the debate, saying it's okay to joke about straight white male, but it's not okay to joke about minorities, and how it's perfectly okay
punching up,
and that it's perfectly okay to punch people on the far right, but not on the far left, or more specifically Nazi, but not communists.
Yeah, on my debate with Owen on transphobia, which is the second longest debate I've had with him, like, I swear to God, like, my patience was wearing thin. I felt like putting a 357 in my mouth. It was just like, I respect the guy, and I relate to him on certain things.
He fucking pisses me off. The thing that gets me the most rolled up about Owen is and he did it in your stream with him, HUMANE, where he says. With communism, like the bosses, the bosses of the factories and that, they don't deserve to get anything because they've done nothing. What? Yeah. So I've almost been tempted to make a video like
exactly.
Okay, so Owen, let's just pretend, right? You've worked all your life, right? You've built up your superannuation. I think you guys call it 401k or something. You've built up your retirement fund, right? And then your retirement fund goes and invests in a factory and invests your hard-earned money into that, right? Money is like the equivalent of work vouchers. It's something that shows that you've worked. So if you're investing money into a factory or any venture, you're essentially giving them work hours. Now, if you give someone work hours, you expect something in return, and that's what a fucking dividend is. That's what an investor's return is. So to sit there and to say the boss who has invested all this capital into setting up the operation, into buying the stock, and to fucking and Christ knows what, and the employees have taken no risk. They've turned up to work and worked. Yeah. But the boss doesn't deserve that. Fucking enrages me. That enrages me.
Yeah.
They've got that labor theory of value nonsense where all value is produced by people working, and if you're not physically working, you're not producing anything of value. And you're like,
where does he think the fucking factory came? The factory just appeared one day. It just fucking.
He calls it stolen.
These bosses work their entire lives to create what they have. It's like Tom Mannigan would sleep in his office. Steve Jobs didn't take a vacation till I think he was like in his 40s, like he was 35. But he worked his entire life for what he has. And just to say that he didn't earn that is just absolutely ignorant, if not outright denial of reality.
Well, he goes even further than that. His attitude's almost like they're exploiting the worker and they're bad people.
Bullshit.
They're fucking what?
Yeah.
It's so ass backwards. It's fucking it's frustrating as fuck.
Yeah, me, HUMANE, Hunter, and JJ and Zach, we did a collab video, questions capitalists have for communists and socialists, and Owen did a live response, and he was so triggered about it.
I started watching that. Was that good? Was that funny? Was his response?
Oh, it's hilarious. I was in tears. I was in tears of laughter because he's like, S-Man has a classist view, and I'm like, buddy, you've called me a Nazi sympathizer, you've called me transphobic. Everything you say buzzword wise, he can just fucking blow me at that point. Like, that's just fucking retarded. Like,
I'm gonna have to finish that. I started watching that. I got sidetracked. I'm gonna have to finish that.
Yeah.
And the way he's just like, we're gonna address some questions. You don't understand anything. Like, fuck off, cunt. You got no idea what you're talking about.
The thing has he ever worked in his life yet? Like, as far as I know,
I think I don't know if he actually works. He probably just works at some safe space thing.
I still think he's in
college, like a Walmart greeter,
whatever they call it over there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's still in school and has not actually worked, and so maybe that's why he holds his view.
It fucking sucks.
Yeah, he's like the full everything. He's not just a communist. I actually remember that Bering. I'm sure Yeah, Baring, I think you saw this. I remember Owen said during my debate with him, he said, "What's so funny about a woman with a penis?" And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
And he just starts laughing immediately, and then Owen just is still disgusted.
What happened was
racist pig. Wee.
What
It's
he
funny,
said is what actually
when you get him roiled up on the topic of sluts. Like, you know, there's nothing wrong with sluts. The world needs a good slut. A good slut that makes the world go around. Fucking gets triggered as fuck.
I will admit, in his second response to me, like it was a joke video, and I called him autistic in that video, and he's like, "I'm not autistic," and I'm like, "Oh, he's such a
you may as well be." Man, you come across that way.
Yeah,
wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny if it came out that his parents were like fucking billionaires? Like he's just a silver.
Well, it makes sense.
Well, imagine my shock.
Yeah.
Well, imagine my shock, everybody.
Yeah, Karl Marx came from a rich family, and he never worked a day in his life. He spent all his time in academia, and he's telling people on how factories and how labor works.
Yeah, didn't Bernie Sanders not have a job till he was like 40 or something, or some shit like that?
Oh, yeah.
He was rich.
Yeah, he didn't have a job until he was in his 40s, and his job when he was that old was going to Congress. So he still doesn't really have a job.
Yeah, but Baring, I do got a question. Yeah, did you see the original video though? Like our video, like questions capitalists have. Did you see that before his response, or have you've not seen it? Have you?
I did not. No, I only started watching his response. I haven't seen. Should I watch yours?
I mean, if you want, sure. Me and HUMANE have it on our channels. I did do it like a response to like his answers to my questions, and like it's 52 minutes. His response, it's like if he would have cut out the parts where he had to go leave really quickly, or he's like, "S-man, you chose some horrible music," or "Oh my God, you guys got sunglasses." Fuck off! You're the British cunt who has the fucking sweater. The ugly sweater in October.
He
Fuck off.
complained about the questions being repetitive. He could have like edited out some of the questions
Or
that he
skipped
felt
over
were
them.
just repeating earlier questions.
Such a beta.
Or just skipped over it. I mean, he was in a live stream, granted.
Yeah.
I love the way you can see his mind when he gets a question or something. You can tell he doesn't quite know. You see you almost see his brain ticking over in his eyes. Like, what should I say? He's sort of just making up how shit works on the spot.
Yeah,
yeah. He's like, "Oh, communism's stateless." Oh.
Yeah, my favorite was the No True Scotsman. He's like, "Well, this is how the No True Scotsman works." And then he proceeds to use the No True Scotsman fallacy.
Yeah.
Yes, man. Do you still have that picture of Owen McDonald that you paused earlier this year?
Oh, on my video response to him, yeah.
Show it to Baring.
So I did a response video to your boy Owen, and I paused accidentally on a part where it was really funny stuff.
Actually, Baring, earlier we were talking about that thing that what's so funny about a woman. He actually what led up to that was that he started talking about transphobic jokes, and he brought up what you got Steve Shives to say, which is chicks with dicks, and I just started laughing. I just was like, and he was so offended by the fact that I was laughing. It was so funny.
Yeah, you're not allowed to make fun at the expense of anyone who's transphobic. That's wrong. You're bad if you do that.
Yeah.
Well, I've got to go. Thanks for coming on, Baring, and I'm glad we kind of ended at a little happier note without so much conflict and
No worries, man.
Thank you.
All right, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about.
Thank you, HUMANE, for clearing up the record regarding your patronship to Baring.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was
Here you go, Baring.
Also, Baring, how's tits?
Yeah, catch you guys later.
Oh, fuck. That's... Oh, my God, that's shocking. Looks like a zombie, doesn't he? Fuck.
Everyone check the Cancer podcast right now.
Oh, I saw it.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Baphomet, fuck you. Fuck you.
Baring, if you ever wanted to know how to have an aneurysm, so basically, Baring, that picture of Owen, that's how you have an aneurysm and an orgasm at the same time. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna go, but it was good chatting with you, Baring. Have a good night, everybody, too. And as always, JJ likes tranny. Till next time.
God damn it.
I got a bail too, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, what song do you want me to sing? What song?
You choose, man. You put a few to me, and I'll see what music I can source.
Yeah.
Hey, Aspie.
Yeah, ironically. Yeah, what?
There's a song that I put in the Poor Bastard / Cancer podcast that I think you should sing.
What is it?
It's called Daily by Rival and Cadmium, featuring John Becker.
I'll take a look at it. Ironically, you know what's weird? Every time I hear the song "Take on Me" by what is that band? What is that band called? Aha. I always think of Australia for some reason. I have no idea why. Kind of like Elton John.
Do another classic like a fucking Dean Martin or a fucking or a Sinatra. I love you sound really good at those. Do like there was a Sinatra version of Mac the Knife. You'd sound really good on. I could do some vocal harmonies on
Oh
as well.
my god.
Mac the Knife. I'll do that one. I'll take a look at that one and do that one.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right.
All right, guys. Thanks.
All right, it was good meeting you again, Bering. Bye.
Yeah,
Tell
good
Pitch I
chat,
said
guys.
hi.
Have a good one, Bering, and thank you for all the drama.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thank you. See ya.
Bye.
See you, Bering.
See ya.
Yeah.
Zach, check
that
the
was
Cancer
cool.
podcast. Check it. Yeah, you saw Zach saw it.
Yeah, check it.
I just busted another Reno.
What, Zach? It's not like you haven't seen Dick before.
Oh my gosh. That's photoshopped, right?
He found his girlfriend's nudes. At least I did.
No, I think that may be real.
That is real.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Man, she's well endowed.
Yeah, she's well hung.
I'm still bigger.
Too bad she's a woman. Kinda.
She's half woman. She's a man woman. She's a boy girl.
That's a.
Fly me to the moon.
I literally feel sick right now. Plus, it also could be the fact that I am hungry for dinner. Like oh god, like I'm
You haven't
sick of
eaten yet?
hunger. Well, not dinner at least. I mean, I started this stream like at 5:30, I think. To originally debate about
X out of that. I don't want my dad to walk in and see me looking at that picture of Blair White.
Speaking of bitch, that Baron guy, one asshole. Am I right? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely.
I wish I saw Bad reaction to that picture.
Like I'll probably do like an after live stream review video of this, and saying of how the drama is like solved and what progress we have made, and then showing the clips of the people who thought that or Loudmouth was really referring to Bering as a psychopath. But other than that, I'm not gonna like continue on with this. I'm not going to like harp on Bering anymore. I don't think.
Yeah, it's all been solved.
Now I can collaborate with without feeling guilty.
I still think that he's wrong and want to collaborate with a doxer, and Loudmouth continue to think that he's wrong as well. He pretty much did triple down on his double standard, on his thing that it is justified for him to associate with a doxer, but can't change the guy's mind. What can I say? I mean, I won't hold anything against anyone that decides to collaborate with the guy who collaborates with the doxer. I mean, Bering is definitely in poor taste of character, but anyone who collaborates with Bering is slightly in poor taste of character, but not so much to an extent that I think that they are, I don't know, pandering necessarily. But we definitely progressed in this.
Yeah.
Messaging knife.
Did you really like watch the whole live stream?
Watched some of it.
And I think apparently I lost some subscribers. Like before starting this thing, I had like 130. Now I have like 116. I guess the Bering fans were upset that I would dare challenge Bering on this.
No, they're mad because you got to talk to Bering and they haven't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really care. I'm still like over 100. I don't really look to like get to the same level as those people with the sextuple digits. You know, 6 digits. I mean, what can I say?
You can make it if you tried hard enough. You could definitely make it one day.
Yeah.
Anyone can, yeah. Like put effort into it. You can make it happen.
Oh, sorry.
I'm definitely going to be moving on from this. Aspie, mute yourself, damn it.
Oh yeah,
Falling in love with you. I'm joking. All right, I'm done.
Hey, Aspie, once I learn acoustic, do you want to do collaborations? Like covers for songs once I fully skill acoustic guitar?
Sure.
All right,
So
cool.
how are you
Brian
people?
Howe says, yeah, the best that you can do is to understand his thought process a bit more.
Yeah. I kind of, when I saw Bering, when I kind of think about this, I think about it with me. I don't think Bering was really that I don't think he was 100% up. What 100% knew what was going on with Devin. I think he just kind of, you know, he likes Devin, and he just kind of asked him for a collaboration, and they did a collaboration. He's kind of seems like me. He's just kind of ignorant to this all this drama stuff. Like I don't like the drama stuff because I don't like, you know, because I have to be with one. Because here's the thing: if I make friends with one, if I do a collaboration with one person, or I talk to one person, and that I'm instantly enemies with another person within the skeptic community. So I
There's
have
no
to.
skeptic community though.
I know.
It makes me cringe when people call themselves skeptics.
Our problem is not with anyone who would collaborate with Bering, but our beef is that he would want to collaborate with somebody who is like too much of an immoral person for, in our opinion, for anyone to want to hang out with.
Yeah.
Like, does it really make any sense at all to be? Does it make any sense at all to be associating with people who are objectively immoral, like murderers, rapists, thieves, or doxers? I'm not saying that they're all morally the same.
I'm sorry, I'm
Is
laughing.
is there something in the chat again?
No. No, look at him. No, look at James Wood. James Wood's Twitter account. Proof liberalism is a mental disorder. Let me share. Let me retweet it to you guys. Let me retweet it to you guys. Like once.
By the way, Baphomet, that picture was fake.
Isn't James Woods the guy who? Isn't James Woods the guy who voiced Hades in Hercules?
What the?
I think so.
Okay, at real James Woods, that's it.
Yeah. I just saw the picture of Blair White.
God, what?
He just saw it. Yeah, I found that. It wasn't hard to as well.
Oh, that was fake.
You guys are some sick motherfuckers, but that's what makes YouTube enjoyable.
I just sent it at you guys. Take a look. Did you guys see it?
About to.
Take a look.
Why? Why?
I didn't get the notification. Oh, there we go. Oh,
yeah. James Woods.
Oh, this video. I've seen this.
Yeah, I
think this was like on YouTube, and it was uncensored too.
Oh, let's see.
I don't want to see that uncensored.
Yeah,
I'd rather it be censored.
Trust me, you don't.
You know, Wolf, he shared like another uncensored clip to the Cancer podcast, and then it was of that fat bitch with her titties hanging out, and then the Cult of Ham was all like, "No, I don't need more of a reminder of why I'm gay."
I love going below and seeing all the other comments below. Oh my gosh, it's just a whole bunch of gifs
like
of people
one of the
throwing
vomiting
up.
gifs, just like the.
Ew. No. Oh hell no! Oh hell no, man! Hell no!
Zach,
Hell no!
Just want a Batman laugh.
For a moment there, I was actually bigger than Humane Mind.
What happened?
Yeah.
Were you looking at Blair White's dick again?
What happened, Zach?
What?
Was Baphomet?
What about me?
Was
God,
you
there's so
looking
much
at
fucking
Blair White's dick
gross.
again?
No,
Zach,
I just easily found that because I knew you would like that, Zach.
What? Yeah.
Zach,
Fuck off.
were you happy, Zach, when you saw Blair White?
Show your face, bitch.
I will soon. Don't worry.
You guys can't even hear me from this close.
The closest it's come is that you showed yourself in a clown mask.
And a KKK.
Zach, when you saw Blair White, were you happy about that?
I might end the stream pretty soon, actually, since it's kind of dying down and I have dinner to get yet.
I can see you drool a little bit.
What?
He's drooling for
I
Blair's
can see you drool a
sausage.
little bit.
Yeah, Zach's gonna have bratwursts for dinner while thinking of Blair White.
Would you say that I was drooling for Blair's dick or something?
Yeah, you wanted,
Probably, yeah.
you wanted to slob on your knob like corn on the cob.
Slop on her knob like corn on the cob.
No,
that song
Or
is
maybe you want
funny.
to slob on her
I'm not
knob
hungry-
like corn
I'm
on
not-
the cob.
I'm not hungry for that kind of meat. No, thank you.
Are you sure about
I know
that?
you. But I know you are, JJ.
Oh.
Just like that John Cena meme.
No.
Are you sure about that?
Zach, do you think Vegan Gaines is hungry for roaming millennials meat?
Everybody's quiet.
Everyone
Yeah,
is.
that clang.
Oh yeah, he wants to. He'll dig his mouth into that meat. I can tell you.
He likes clams.
As Zach looks at the camera, he's like, "What the fuck what
So I
happened?"
hope
to this?
everybody had fun actually getting to meet Bering for the first time,
Yep.
well, except for Aspie.
Yep.
You've met with
May I mirror
Bering,
this, Zach?
plenty of times, it seems.
I've met with him a few. I met with him once, yeah, and then that same day we went into a private hangout and he showed me how to use Reaper. That's pretty cool. That was pretty cool. So, yeah.
Zach, may I mirror the stream since
So
I got
think
to
I'm
meet
going
everyone?
to end this stream right here, and yeah. So everybody who has watched, thank you for joining us for this debate. I hope you guys have learned as much as I have, and I hope this was a decent debate for everyone to watch. So yeah, as always, Aspie's a retard.
Screw you.
Wow.
Screw you. Nice one. All right. Is it live?